Welcome to the College Football Bros. I'm Michael Newman.
And I'm Ryan Newman.
This is the craziest coaching carousel of all time, at least in our lifetime. Notre Dame head coach Brian Kelly, no longer the Notre Dame head coach. He is apparently going to LSU. Ryan, what are your thoughts?
When will it stop? Like
This is crazy,
man. This is nuts. Didn't expect this. We were just talking about it yesterday when we were talking about the USC hire with Lincoln Riley, and we were saying, oh, now LSU fans are going to be like, oh, what are they going to do? What's going to happen for them? Like, how's it going to work? You were just all worried, and now all of a sudden, boom, they got it.
I said unless they pull a rabbit out of their hat, they might regret not getting Napier. Well, they pulled a rabbit out of their hat.
Great hire here how can you not think it's a great hire? He's Brian Kelly, 5 straight years of winning at least 10 games there at Notre Dame, made it to a national title, made it to a couple of playoff appearances. Even before that, he was great at Cincy. It's kind of surprising that he would take it, but we'll kind of touch on that a little bit. But man, just a great hire.
Yeah, well, let's get to that. Let's get to whether it makes sense for Brian Kelly. I mean, in a way, it's surprising because we didn't see it coming, but it also, to me, makes a lot of sense because it kind of felt like he had hit his ceiling at Notre Dame, right? He did make, he played for a national championship, of course, against Alabama a long time ago and got crushed. And just seemed like every time they made the playoff, right, they didn't fare too well, and they just really weren't at the level of the elite teams. Like they were good enough to where with their schedule and winning close games, they were able to make it to the playoff, but no one really ever gave them a realistic chance. And I think so. The big reason I would think is he thinks he has a better chance to win a title at LSU. He's 60 years old, so of course he doesn't have a lot of time left in his career. And at LSU, you can have top 3 recruiting classes. At Notre Dame, was going to have a very good one coming in 2022, but for the most part, he's recruiting classes were ranked around 10th, give or take, and that's a big difference.
Yeah, there's definitely some recruiting challenges that Notre Dame kind of brings. I mean, it strengths, but there's a limit. It's like you said, you're not getting top 3 potential classes there. And I think you said it well. I think it's just because, listen, he's had a ton of success. What else could he really accomplish there? And in his career, I think he's chasing that national title. I think that's kind of would be the final touch on his amazing career. And you put it well, like LSU gives him a chance to do that. I mean, yeah, they kind of sort of struggled this year a little bit, but you can get that thing turned around. There's still talent there, and you can pull in amazing talent right away. So it just gives him that shot to chase the ultimate dream for winning a national title.
Yeah, the last 3 LSU coaches, right, have won national titles. So obviously there's a chance for him. So how is this going to work? I haven't seen anything official, but if Notre Dame might make the playoff, of course, right? They've got a very realistic chance. It depends on what happens this weekend, but it appears that he's leaving, and he's not, even if they make the playoff. From everything I've read, from what Bruce Feldman has kind of said, it seems like he's not going to coach in the playoff. Now, someone out there, if you can correct me, or if there's a report, maybe all this will look stupid, but that's what it looks like to me right now.
Yeah, maybe by the time this comes out, people will have an answer to this, but it's very surprising because when you look back a handful of years ago, Scott Frost took over Nebraska, but he still coached UCF in their, kind of, what was it, playoff
Peach
6
Bowl,
game or whatever, or Peach Bowl, yeah, New Year's 6 Bowl. So it'd be hard not to coach a team that's in the playoff.
But at the same time, do they even want Brian Kelly to coach? Because this is kind of ugly. This is kind of an ugly situation where I'm sure Notre Dame fans.
It's not exactly. Not exactly apples to apples going from UCF to Nebraska. I think everybody maybe understood that at UCF. Like, hey, I mean, there were still some people that were upset about that, but hey, Scott Frost is taking a bigger job, going home. Okay. Yeah, this one, woo, that's a burn.
Yeah, this one's a little different. So maybe if they do make the playoff, maybe it'll be Marcus Freeman coaching them. We'll have to wait and see. But where does Notre Dame? What's that?
What if Marcus Freeman goes with him?
It's possible, but I feel like maybe he'll get a head coaching job. Maybe, hey, where does Notre Dame go from here? Maybe they get Luke
Yeah.
Fickell as their next head coach, and then Marcus Freeman goes to become the head coach of Cincinnati, and they kind of swap.
The
It's
carousel's
crazy that
going.
the carousel keeps going. So yeah, where do you think Notre Dame goes from here?
Well, I think, there's some candidates out there, highly qualified candidates that will want the job. So I don't think they're going to have to really go too far down a list here. Luke Fickell, of course, is maybe the first name that you would think of. He's a Midwestern guy and seems like he's had some opportunities before. And I'm sure he's gotten calls on these other jobs, but this one makes a lot of sense for him.
Everyone has said that the jobs he might leave Cincinnati for are
Yeah.
Notre Dame, Penn State, and Ohio State. And
Ohio State.
yeah,
Exactly. And Notre Dame, I mean, it's not like it's coming off of a Notre Dame 4-8 or something like that, where, when Brian Kelly came in and it was after kind of a struggling Weiss time. This is prime time. Notre Dame just went 11-1. Talent's coming in. It's a good time to take over Notre Dame. So even with that, you would think Luke Fickell would be wanted even more. But other names. There's plenty of other guys. Big names. Urban Meyer. I'm sure he would consider it
yeah.
after the
I
first year
just
there.
think I'm not sure either side would be interested there, but you got to throw out the
Yeah,
name.
you never know. His name's been thrown out. Matt Campbell is on the list. He's always on the list for big time jobs. Semi disappointing this year for the Cyclones, which may have an effect on that, but he's proven himself, I think, for a bigger job like this.
Mhm. And then, of course, we already mentioned Marcus Freeman. He could be a candidate because I think Brian Kelly even said he's the next coach at Notre Dame. Now, that was,
I'm
with
yeah,
the expectation that maybe Kelly would be there a few more
yeah, a
years,
few more
but
years, yeah.
it's a
I'm a
possibility. So,
little I wouldn't be super stoked about that if I was a Notre Dame fan. Just hiring Marcus Freeman seems a little early in his tenure and career to get the Notre Dame coaching job. Just kind of
possibly.
reminds me of the Washington situation when Jimmy Lake took over. Not saying it would go the same way, but
Mhm.
I don't know. It just has similar vibes in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, he's done a great job upgrading the recruiting there, so I could see why they'd be interested. But anyway, that's it. We got the SEC West coaching slate just got even more stacked. It's unbelievable, but
We'll have another episode tomorrow, I'm sure.
I'm sure there will be more dominoes, of course. So thanks for
Yeah.
watching this episode of the College Football Bros. Let us know in the comments below your thoughts if you're a Notre Dame fan, if you're an LSU fan on this whole situation. Yeah, and we'll be back when Nick Saban leaves Alabama tomorrow, I'm sure. So
For Notre
we'll
Dame.
talk to you
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
You've been watching the College Football Bros. Be sure to subscribe here on YouTube and in your podcast app for college football content all year round. For bonus episodes and access to our Discord chat, join our Patreon at patreon.com/collegefootballbros. Thanks for watching.